Hi everyone, my name is Olga Cardamone and I'm the CEO of Eagle Travel Tours to Russia. Today's video is going to be about a show that recently came out on Netflix called The Last Czars. Have you seen it? If you have, I would love to hear about it in the comment section. If you haven't, I really hope that you'd be interested in seeing it after this video. This video is really special for me because it is connected to two guests who are really important for me. First one, his name is Andy, and he was our guest. I think that was back in 2015. He was one of my company's first guests who came to Russia, and he was the first guest who we took to Moscow. And he recently wrote to me about the show and told me that he really enjoyed it. And the second guest is a recent one. Her name is Tanvi, and we've been working together on virtual tours of Russia for people from India, and she also told me that she really enjoyed this show. And I wanted to record this video with my comments as I am a kind of person who knows a lot about the last royal family, and I've shared the story of the last royal family with hundreds of guests. I do believe that I have a lot to share with you. Anyway, in the show, the very first episode starts with the funeral of the Russian Tsar Alexander III. We really briefly learn that Alexander III was the father of the last Russian Tsar, Nicholas II. And he was quite an interesting historic figure. To explain what kind of a ruler he was, it's also really important to look at his father, or Nicholas's grandfather, whose name was Alexander II. Alexander II was a really liberal ruler. For example, he freed the serfs in Russia, and historians also believe that he was trying to write some kind of a new constitution for our country, which also would be really liberal. However, the fact that Alexander II was a liberal ruler did not mean that people liked him. In fact, lots of people did not like him, and different terrorist groups started appearing in the country, the goal of which would be to assassinate the Tsar. And in 1881, one of those terrorist groups actually did succeed, and he was assassinated. You might have seen this gorgeous church in St. Petersburg, known as the Church on Spilled Blood. Well, this church was constructed on the place where Alexander II was assassinated. Alexander III, the father of Nicholas II, was the one who ordered to build that church. And Alexander III was the opposite of his father. He did not want to be as liberal. Well, and you'd really understand why when he saw that his liberal father wasn't treated really well. Anyway, he projected his conservative views onto his children. So why am I telling you this? The reason I'm telling you this is because when Nicholas II was growing up, he was taught that it was a God-given right for him to be an autocratic ruler. And this is repeated a lot throughout the show, and we're definitely going to talk about it more. However, I must say that this whole view system was a huge reason why Nicholas's life ended the way it did. Anyway, back to Alexander III's funeral. At the funeral, we also meet Alexandra, who was the royal bride, the future wife of the Emperor Nicholas II, and their life story is really amazing. It's one of those rare situations in the world's history where a royal couple actually loves each other. They fell in love when they were really young, when future Empress Alexandra, back then her name was Princess Alice, she visited Russia with her sister, who was about to marry Grand Duke Sergei. And if you remember that name from the show, stay tuned, because I also have a lot to share about that couple. Anyway, Nicholas and Alexandra immediately fell in love. And when Nicholas turned 21, he asked his father permission to marry Alexandra. The father's answer was the following: "You are too young to think about marriage. You are married to Russia, and that's what you should focus on. And when the time comes, we'll find the perfect bride for you." As for Alexandra, her grandmother, Queen Victoria, also didn't really like the idea of her marrying Nicholas. Anyway, they still kept trying, and eventually Queen Victoria did meet Nicholas and seemed to like him, so she changed his view about him. And we know that Empress Alexandra, future Empress Alexandra, started learning Russian. Anyway, when Nicholas's father, Alexander III, got sick and the question of Nicholas inheriting the throne became more pressing, and he wasn't married yet, Nicholas said that he wanted to marry someone that he loved, and he expressed that the person he was in love with was Alexandra. Anyway, he was finally allowed to marry her, and she came into the Russian court. By the way, several years ago, my favorite Hermitage Museum in St. Petersburg had a wonderful exhibit of royal gowns. And Alexandra's wedding dress was part of that exhibition. And you can see that it's gorgeous. According to the court rules that had existed in Russia by then for over 50 years, all of the royal brides had to wear dresses with silver embroidery. And you can see her dress is made of gorgeous brocade and is designed with silver embroidery. And the sleeves are really long. However, they were purely decorative and they only covered just a small part of her arms. Anyway, the dress is gorgeous. However, Alexandra herself pretty much was an outsider in the Russian court. Historians believe that Nicholas's mother, Empress Maria Feodorovna, did not really like Alexandra. She did not believe that marrying her was such a good decision. Another thing that we have to mention is that the majority of royal brides, when they came to Russia to marry into the royal family, they really had some time to live in Russia without being an empress and to really learn about the life and the people so that they could use that information when they ruled the country. And unfortunately, Alexandra was not that lucky. She basically joined the Russian royal family and immediately she had to become an empress. So she didn't really know much about the intrigues and the relationships in the Russian court, and that really hurt her. On top of that, she was a modest person, she was an introvert, and some people believed that she was pretty cold, and that also, affected greatly not just the life of Alexandra herself, but the life of their whole family and the Romanov dynasty. Well, I can't believe that I shared with you the backstory of just the very, very beginning of episode 1 of this show. Just in this episode alone, there are so many interesting things going on. For example, Rasputin appears, or Nicholas II gets crowned, and I would love to share with you the stories behind those things, and really other things that happen in all the other episodes of this wonderful show. So I would like to keep making these videos. I hope that this is interesting for you. If you have any questions about things that happened in the show or about the last royal family in general, I would love to answer them in the comments or in my future videos. So please feel free to leave them below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to my channel and let's stay in touch. Bye!